It's a lie. If you're sad, depressed, anxious, or just in general down in the dumps, you're probably lying to yourself. So today we're going to explore why that statement is true, but more importantly, the opposite of the lie, which is the truth and how to find it. Josh, have you ever lied to yourself?
Yeah, I have, Rob. I've been going through a lot of turmoil with my family over the past few years, and it's been rough. But I kept telling myself I was okay with it, and I was okay with it, and I was
Mm,
okay with it. And about 7 months ago, 8 months ago, I realized I really wasn't okay
mm.
because I wasn't dealing with the problem. I was just telling myself I was okay, and I wasn't managing the symptoms that were coming along with it.
You're trying to kind of bury your feelings a little
Yeah, it was
bit.
one of those times where it's like if I don't feel it, if I don't think about it, it's not real. I don't have to deal with it. So if I just keep burying it and hiding it, it won't matter. It'll never rear its ugly head. But unfortunately, it does, and it always does, because like everything else, the truth always finds its way out.
It does, yeah, no doubt about it. And with regards to kind of the thing that you've struggled with as relates to your family, do you feel like how long has this been going on? Just to be kind of
I, I,
candid with it
I
with
mean, honestly, it's been going on for probably about 7 years.
oh wow.
Yeah, maybe even a little bit longer. There was a big falling out between me and my sister and my brother-in-law. We kind of mended those fences, and then there was a big falling out between me and my mom, and then the rest of the family decided to get involved.
Mm,
They decided to put their 2 cents in and kind of tell me what they thought of me. And I was fine with it, but here's the thing I've also learned. I can't have people who create drama, garbage, and BS in my life. I'm at a point in my life where I want peace.
mm.
And without peace, I don't think you can find happiness.
Well, and again, I think peace is the ultimate when we're looking to be satisfied and content in our lives. And we have to understand that we're gonna have trials,
Yep.
we're gonna have wounds, but our trials and our wounds can become our brilliance.
Absolutely. 100%. Because they teach you those trials and those down moments, even like the depression, like we've talked about before. If you can spin it and turn it into a positive, do it. Sometimes it's hard to find the positive in it, but you have to sometimes dig a little deeper, and sometimes you have to dig a little deeper in here, not so much everywhere else. It's here that you have to find the answers.
Exactly, and I think when we tell ourselves lies, do you think that the underlying attribute, I'll just say, is maybe fear? You think it's fear?
You know, it's hard to say because honestly, I'm not a clinical psychologist or a therapist in any way. I've just been in it a lot.
Hmm. You've
So
been in what a lot?
I've been in therapy a
Oh
lot. I mean,
yeah,
unfortunately, you have
I've been
to.
in therapy too, just
It,
for the record.
it, it
Yeah.
helps. Everybody needs a person to vent to. They need
Hmm.
someone they can talk to that isn't going to cast judgment on them. So if y'all don't seek a therapist, you got bigger issues. It's
Hmm.
okay to not be okay. Sometimes we have to seek help to help us become okay. Something I learned in AA was that we call it the brick. Your phone is the brick. Whenever things are going bad, we always hesitate to pick up that brick.
Well, even yesterday, I kind of had a down day, or the day before, and I called Josh that night or sent him a text saying, "Hey, I'm not in for actually shooting this video. I just needed a day." But had I picked up the phone, I probably would have showed up yesterday to do this versus today. You know
Yeah,
what I
you
mean?
would
But I
have.
didn't. I didn't pick the phone up. I just was again doing a little bit of a spiral, and
And then what happened? You picked up the phone, you called me to
the
talk
next
to me
day,
about it the
the next
next
day,
day to
yep,
say, hey, this is what's going on. This is why I didn't come. This
yep.
is why I couldn't come. And I looked at you and went, why didn't you pick up the brick, bro?
Yeah, I do find that when I'm kind of in that mode of kind of spiraling, I'm either hungry, I'm tired, or I'm lonely. It's one of those three things. It
Or a
seems like.
combination of a couple.
Oh yeah, a combination, a couple of
Absolutely.
them.
You add a
Yeah.
couple of those together, guess what? Now you're down in the dumps and depression again.
Yep.
Why? Because that's the human condition.
Yep.
You're going to go through these times in life where, for no apparent reason, you're just down in the dumps. It happens. But the thing that you need to start realizing is you need to stop lying to yourself about it. Because the more you lie to yourself, it's just like a lie any other time. If you lie to someone, that lie gets magnified every single time it's told. So if you're sitting here lying to yourself, telling yourself you're okay when you're really not, it's going to blow up at some point. And unfortunately, when that happens, there's going to be casualties.
But there are times too when you're actually saying things to yourself that are not true.
100%.
And I do think like anxiety, depression, being angry, I do think the underlying cause of that is some type of fear. And the Bible says that we are not given a spirit of fear, but rather of power, love, and sound mind. A sound mind. And when you're thinking these negative thoughts about yourself, and again, we talked about it earlier, it's okay not to be okay.
It
There are times
is.
you're not okay, but there are times when you're lying to yourself about how you're feeling and you're not focused on what the opposite of that is. So if you're saying, I'm not where I want to be in my life right now. I had a conversation with a friend of mine on that, and I said, "Tell me about kind of where you are in your life right now. What's your response to that?"
Yeah.
Response was, "I'm not where I should be." I go, "You know what? That is a lie for feeling that way. It's a
Yes, it
lie."
is.
I go, "What is the opposite of that?" And you know what that person said? "I'm right where I should be." And I said, you know what I asked him? I go, "Give me examples of why that statement is true." And this person went on to say, "Well, I've got a boyfriend, I've got a job, I've got shelter, I can walk, talk, and see." And I asked the person then, I said, "Okay, so let me ask you this. Based on that statement, what you just said, was what you thought before, was that a lie?" And that person looked at me and said, "Oh my gosh, it's a lie." What we focus on in our lives determines whether or not we're telling the truth or whether or not we're lying to ourselves, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have so much that you can pick up, good or bad, right? Positive or negative.
Well, and the thing that really strikes me in what you just said is you ask them, are you where you want to be? Well, no. But what you're not getting is you're exactly where God wants you to be if you continue to follow his path. It may not seem like it at the time that you're where you want to be, but you might be exactly where you need to
Oh,
be.
that's good. That's good.
We need to remember that.
That's
It's
good.
it's not always about what we want. Stack up want and needs and see which piles up first, right?
Yep. That's right.
And
Yep.
clearly the wants are going to outweigh the needs. So you need to start figure out what's important,
That's right.
because you can have all these wants in the world. Like, I want a brand new Mastercraft X10 or X30 or X80 or something. I'd love a brand new wake boat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. But unfortunately, I don't have $200,000 to go buy one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that goes on the back burner. I want peace in my life. I can control that. I can control the peace in my life. And how I control that is stop lying to myself. Stop saying that I'm okay when I'm not okay. Accept that I'm not okay and move forward from it. Try to figure out what caused me to feel not okay and try to solve that issue.
Mm-hmm.
Stop lying. And it's not just lies to yourself. Because the problem is when we lie to ourselves, eventually those lies that we're telling ourselves start spewing out of our mouth to others. Now, we've not only lied to ourselves, but we're lying to people we know, love, and care for.
Yeah, because people ask you how you doing.
Exactly.
And I think
I'm doing
I
great.
think we should always follow up with, when we ask people how they're doing, the next word should be really.
Yeah.
Like, tell me really
Like,
how you're
no,
feeling.
really, how do you
Right?
feel?
Because people typically, they will lean into that a little bit more if you go with that one more word versus just saying how you doing. Because people tend to say, "Oh, I'm doing okay."
Well, what's
You
your
know.
quick knee-jerk reaction? I'm good.
Yeah. And being
But are you though?
and not being okay is okay, but you can easily find the positive in your life.
Yes,
No matter what you're
100%.
going through, and you can flip it again. If the lie is, I'm not enough or I'm broken, the opposite of that is I'm good enough, and here's why I'm good enough. And start looking at the things in your life that are reinforcing that you are good enough.
Well, and another thing is, we can lie to ourselves for only so long.
It's a full-time job.
It is.
Lying to yourself is a full-time job, man.
It's right up there with the lies I told when I was drinking. It was a full-time job keeping up with the lies. It really was, because I would say I'm doing this, but I was really doing this. But I had to remember who I told I did this, this, and this, and why I told them I did this and this. And now all of a sudden my lies are coinciding and I'm jumbling them all up, and
And after a while, you just get what? I mean, if you're doing that over and over again, it what?
it just wears you
It
down.
wears you down.
You're giving all the energy to
Yes.
lies.
You are lying. Yes.
You're giving all of your energy, and I hate saying this, but I'm going to tell y'all, you're giving all your energy to Satan.
Mhm.
He's worming his way into your heart. He's finding a way to get you to stay down there.
And you've heard the term before. He is the father of lies.
He is.
And again, I'll get back to the verse. We are not given a spirit of fear. You're giving a spirit of power, love, and sound mind. So again, what are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to yourself right now? And if you are depressed, anxious, I'll say it again, sad or down, you're lying to yourself. You are lying. If you're telling yourself, again, you're not good enough, you're good enough. focus on the things that you've done in your life that have helped other people, maybe where you help yourself, maybe where you've leaned into doing something great in your life. And you know what? We talked about perfection before. Don't you think it's not about perfection, but it's more just about progress?
It's all about progress.
Right.
That's the biggest saying in AA. It's not about progress. It's not about perfection. It's
Right.
about progress.
Yep.
Because if you're progressing, even if it's just that little bit every day, you're eventually going to get to where you need to be and where you want to be. You know,
But you got to get to where you need to be first before you get to where you want to be.
well, and to get there,
Right.
something that we have, the power of lies will sit here and tell you that, you'll start thinking, I'm not lovable.
That's not real. Keep going.
If people
I'm
knew,
not lovable.
if people
I'm
knew the
too broken
real
to be
me,
fixed.
why would they stay? So I keep putting on this facade so they stay, but they really don't know who I am because I've never opened up.
So be real.
There it is.
Be real.
That's the thing you'll all learn about me. I'm as real as it gets. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'll do anything for anyone. And you know what? Because of those traits, it's gotten me out of where I was. What got a big help to getting me out of where I was serving into others. You and I, we met on a weekend.
That's what true life is.
We
Get
met-
outside of yourself.
And we met on a weekend. We met on a men's retreat weekend that was absolutely amazing. I saw grown men shed tears. And when I say tears, I mean real, genuine tears. They weren't the fake ones. They weren't the, I'm going to make myself cry so I look like I'm sad and weepy. They were genuine tears from grown men. And it was the most amazing thing I've ever seen because it was men letting go of all of the lies, the garbage, and the BS that they were living in and continuing to tell themselves. And once they let that go, there was a transformation that was absolutely amazing to watch. It really was.
So you kind of let go and let God.
There it is.
Right? Let go
Every day.
and let God.
Every day you need to learn to let go and let God. He's always trying to direct you. The problem is we're so busy paying attention to screens or false deities and these weird ideologies that we should follow because this person's doing this and that person's doing that. And it's like, why are you trying to be the Joneses? I'm trying to be Josh Eisen. I'm not trying to be, Elon Musk. Come on, be realistic. Be you. Be genuine.
Be your authentic self.
Yeah.
Be your authentic self.
Because when
be
you're
real.
your authentic self, not only do you feel better, but things start progressing. And the people that you want in your life, if they love you, if they're meant to be there, they'll stay when they find out who the real you is. Some people leave. In my sobriety, man, I've learned who my real friends are and who my drinking buddies were and who my drug buddies were. I learned all that in sobriety because I used to have a group of a couple hundred people that I'd spend time with. Now I'm down to about 7.
Am I one of them?
You're on the cusp. You're borderline. I don't know if I'd call you a friend, but you're something.
Well, again, to conclude here, look, when the lie whispers to you this week, answer it with the truth. Answer it with the opposite of what you're saying to yourself. You're good enough. We love you. I'm Rob.
I'm Josh.
And we are here to help you find the beauty
in the darkness.
We'll see you in the next video.